guys. Oh man, Grasso, first place in the league. 2 weeks left in the regular season. So actually they start in 3 weeks, but can't wait for that. Definitely, we'll break down all the fantasy stuff. Let's get into our college football discussion. A couple of big games. Actually, a lot of big games. This is probably the last week where you're going to find jam-packed college football schedule as the season is coming to an end. Although when championship weekend rolls around, make sure you request off of that, because the ACC championship game, the SEC championship game, and the Big 12 all going to be phenomenal. But as for this week, though, it's our final week in our college pick'em. If you got on the morning sound of college pick'em, appreciate you guys hanging out and doing that. We got our man Smitty in on there, and a host of other people. 12 points separates the top 5 teams, so it should be a lot of fun getting our picks in. But let's look at some of the games on the schedule. Everybody obviously is talking about Texas Tech and Oklahoma and such huge implications in this game, and it's been a while since the Red Raiders have been in the game that means so much like the way this one does. The winner wins the Big 12 South and goes on to play Missouri, most likely, in the Big 12 championship game. You know, Vegas loves Oklahoma in this one. I got the text from Smitty yesterday. Sooners favored by 7. Are you surprised? Not really. I just think Oklahoma at home is a pretty strong team. You know, yes, Texas Tech's had a good year. They are undefeated, but I think when they run into Oklahoma, you're really going to find out what kind of team Texas Tech is, and I just don't think they'll live up to it. I mean, it was kind of like Texas. You know how Texas beat Oklahoma, and they beat Missouri, and then they ran into Texas Tech. It's like, whoa. It was just too much. And, Graham Harrell, quarterback of the Red Raiders, having a phenomenal year. Crabtree going to be a great NFL prospect, having a great year with Texas Tech. Definitely in the Heisman discussion for both of them. But I really expect this Oklahoma team to take over this game. In their house, under the lights, prime time. It's a huge game. Huge game for both teams. Big 12 championship game on the line. On the other hand, if Oklahoma wins this game, BCS formula will determine whether the Sooners or Longhorns represent the South Division. I can't believe that. I did not know the Red Raiders have taken 2 of the past 3 meetings against the Sooners. Not that that's going to lean my pick towards one way or the other, but an interesting fact. I think defensively, Oklahoma will be able to do things to Texas Tech that will take them out of their element. Take them out of the type of game that they're used to playing, stretching the field. Kind of where I'm leaning with that one. Big game in the ACC. When has there not been a big game in the ACC, oh, by the way? Florida State heading over to play the Maryland Terrapins. Terps now control their own destiny in the Atlantic Division, although they didn't help Miami much. When they controlled their own destiny, they couldn't control crap last night. So we'll see what the Terps can do as the Seminoles come a-calling. If the Noles win, they're going to need help to get back on top, but anything's possible. Both teams come into this one 7-3. I was really surprised at the lackluster effort Florida State gave against Boston College last week. So now they got to go into a hostile environment. Terrapins already upset to Tar Heels last week, and now they get a chance to pretty much win the Atlantic Division in the ACC. They win this one. They're heading to the ACC championship game. Now, if they lose, they're still going, unless they drop another game. Grasso asks, is Bradford or Harrell the quarterbacks for Oklahoma and Texas Tech? Do they win the Heisman based on who wins that game? I don't even consider Bradford in the Heisman talk. If Graham Harrell wins this game, I think he is definitely sitting pretty as a Heisman Trophy winner. Depending on the game he has. I mean, if you're talking 350 yards passing, then yeah. If it's a dogfight, Texas Tech finds a way to win it. I don't think just the win alone, putting them at 11-0, is going to get him an automatic bid for the Heisman. He's going to need to prove himself in the Big 12 championship game. A couple of big games in the Big East. West Virginia travels to Louisville. Mountaineers are going to need some help to find themselves back atop the Big East. And number one, it starts with Pittsburgh losing to Cincinnati this week. So plenty of big games out there for you guys to tune in and get some college football. So Pitt is at Louisville, number 20 against number 19. If West Virginia plans on getting back into the Big East or winning the Big East to get a BCS game, they're going to need Pitt to lose at Cincinnati and then beat Pittsburgh in Pitt, where they got stunned last year. If you recall, West Virginia, all they had to do was beat Pittsburgh in the backyard brawl, and they're on their way to the national championship game. However, that's why they play the game. WVU ends up losing that one. Meanwhile, they've got a big game with Louisville. So they got to take care of business there. I think Grasso posed a question earlier. If Oklahoma beats Texas Tech, do you guys think that they will leapfrog Texas or Florida in the BCS standings? BCS standing as they look right now: Alabama number 1, Texas Tech number 2, Texas 3, Florida 4, and then you have Oklahoma sitting pretty there. I could see Oklahoma jumping. I could definitely see them jumping Florida. Florida's playing the Citadel this week, and that's really going to hurt them. Well, that's just of their own doing. I mean, they scheduled the Citadel this late in the season, which I think is an outrage. But, do what you got to do. I think that will come back to haunt Florida. So yeah, I could see the Sooners moving up to as high as 3, because Texas would move to 2, and then Oklahoma moved to 3. Now, does the strength of schedule hurt Texas if Oklahoma beats number 2 Texas Tech? That's a good question. Remains to be seen. I will say no.